All right. Let me restart this. Oh. Couldn't find base CSS.
Yeah, try a bundle install.
That'd be good. There we go.
Try doing something invalid. So we can see, well, actually it doesn't matter either way. All right, could you open your dev tools and look at the console log? Press escape.
This is pretty rude.
What's that?
Like some kind of bizarre notification.
On your phone?
No, on my desktop, on my laptop.
Okay.
Not cool. So nothing's wrong here.
Okay. All right, so give a bogus email and password to the login.
Ooh. Do we have a way to log out?
Well, I don't know if you're truly logged in either way. I mean, is that even bogus? Oh, you just did it.
Yeah, it was. Well, maybe not invalid.
Yeah, I mean invalid.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm logged in. Yeah.
Now I thought we were gonna see some console logs, because I'm now looking at your teammate. Yeah, we've got this thing with console logs. When we handle a sign up submit, we have a console log saying submitting sign up, and then on the success and fail path, we have a console log that says, you know, good job or you failed. But I don't see that. Let's double check what that is connected to.
Unclick.
Let's start with the console.
Wait, it should. That was sign up.
Let's switch to that.
Oh, I guess we didn't do sign in yet.
Right, we didn't. So explain it. So in your browser, could you do a bogus sign up?
Okay. Oh, submitting sign up.
Okay. Hit escape right now. There you go. Escape toggles the inner console, which is not needed when you're on the screen.
Oh, okay, right.
All right, so it did submitting sign up, but we must have a debugger in the backend. Can you check Rails server?
Nope. Oh, yes, we do.
Cool. Yeah, I would just take that out. It throws a 422, which is exactly what we want. All right, check the browser. We should see that error submitting sign up form. Okay, and look at that. We have in the response text JSON payload of the errors. And so what we could work on is a way to surface the errors in the form.
Okay. Do we want to look at what happens if it's good?
Um,
Or you want to work on the errors first?
yeah, let's just work on the errors first. Do you want to pull out the debuggers?
Yeah.
So I opened up 4 tabs in total.
Oh.
All the files that we had on that last commit. And so, yeah, I think it's in these 2 controllers that we've got some debuggers.
That's good. Getting sign up alone.
All right, so in the first instance, we should just jam the text into the form without any concern for how it looks. I'm gonna peek at the styling tips we use at work. But before I even look at that, we might as well just get the text showing up on the page in some ugly way. So I assume the right place to do it would be within the render sign up form method.
Yeah.
What I think we should do is actually maybe not within the method, but have another method called like render errors. That the very first thing is it. Oh, you know what? You know, I'm going a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, yeah, no, let's continue.
You want to make? We should make it a method.
Yeah, we should.
A function or whatever.
Yeah, but just leave it blank for a moment. And once you put the closing curly and whatever, jump back to that Ajax call. So what we're doing on the success path on line 45 is this dot set state, which is React magic for on next tick re-render with the given new state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not doing flux here, so all this state is being managed inside the component, which is fine for now. So what we're going to do is this dot set state with the payload that we're getting back. It might be easiest if, in addition to copy pasting that, you flip back to your Chrome DevTools and copy paste the response text JSON, and maybe even throw it into Rails console in JSON.parseIt, so we can have it without the crazy stringified marks everywhere. So to open another, what is the right word for this? tmux panel or screen. Right now we have two screens, the one you started with, and then I opened a completely new one for this. I can't remember if your leader key is Control A or Control B, but it's your leader key and then C. Yep. So open up a Rails console and grab that payload. Yeah. So stringify is the other way. It's when you're taking a Ruby thing and turning it into a string. What we want, yeah, exactly. JSON.parse. All right, you have a double quote at the beginning and some trailing stuff at the end here. You basically, you should actually get rid of that too. Look at the stuff you got in between. Yeah, we've got like 3 lines of duplicate stuff.
Status 422, status text, and stop there, right?
No, I think you want to go all the way back to like, oh, weird. Yeah, keep on going back. Yeah, keep on going back. I'm just looking for the actual message. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Now note that we have this weird ellipse. What does that actually say in your, yeah, go ahead. Get rid of that extra quote, but flip back when you get a second to the browser console and look at what that key was actually called. We have 2 keys here. We have email is invalid.
Oh my God, where is it? Response text.
Correct. The response text has errors, and then inside the errors payload, we have email is invalid, and then something is too short. Minimum is 8 characters, but the name of the key got elided by an ellipse.
That's
Copy
annoying.
paste.
Yeah, I see. How do I get rid of that? How do I expand this?
Have that open. And yeah, is there anything that if you look inside that, yeah, keep on scrolling until you see response text again.
What, baby?
That needs the IP address of the router and the password. He said mom might be able to acquire it.
I have no idea.
All right, there it is, response text, password confirmation. Oh, okay, yeah. You might just want to copy that one instead.
Yeah.
I just completely overwrite with that. I don't think you want any quote.
No?
No, like it comes with quotes already. So you just want the parentheses.
True.
I might be lying. Okay.
Man, that's all. I think we need to backslash all these quotes.
Yeah. You know what? Don't worry about backslashing it. Just take that copy paste over into our JavaScript and we'll manually clean it up. It's going to be fairly trivial. In fact, we don't even need to clean it up. We just want it there as a comment so that we can correctly refer to its structure while we work. So do leader key P to move to your previous screen. And yeah, just somewhere like at the top of the fail block, paste it and then make a comment // yeah.
I lost it. Opposite of P is?
Well, I would just get it from the browser window now. But the opposite of P is N for previous next.
Oh, yeah. What the heck is this?
You, I think, had your leader key down at one point, and so it started. Cut and paste.
So we want to consult. What do we want to do?
I think we're good.
Right.
Yeah, we now have this here, so we just won't have to keep on flipping around to look at the structure. So anyway, I think what we're basically going to do is just do this .set state errors response.response text.errors, right? Or response.response text.
Yes.
Wait, you're inside the happy one there. Go to the sad one. And assign that to a key that I would suggest we call errors.
Oh, what do you mean assigned to a key?
Well, okay, so we're inside a hash here, so it's going to be key value pairs, and you just wrote the value there. So go to the beginning of the line and like type errors :
okay.
And get rid of that line below it, is showing form false. That's only for the happy path. And while you're here, yank that line 48 and also copy it down. Well, no, I wasn't going to say into there, but copy it down at the render errors function that we're going to work on next. Cool. All right. Yeah, I think we can just start working on the render errors function.
I'm calling this set state errors. So we're going to get back this hash.
Yep. So, you know, React is, you don't have to think about how it's re-rendering. You just can program with the assumption that it always re-renders. So I would guard this with the conditional if this.state.errors, and then inside there, return a payload.
All right, so what do we want this to be, a div?
Yeah, we just need to jam the text into the page. So I think we basically need to map, or yeah, I think we need to map through the keys and the values. Like, you know, even better an even better solution would be to have inline errors instead of providing them all in a block together. But let's start off with putting them all in a block, like here. So
we could just be assholes and only give them one error.
yeah, exactly. Put them all together just for the MVP. I need to, or actually, you know what we could do? Put inside there a hello world. Yep. Close your curly when you get a chance. And put that inside the sign up form anywhere. Okay, so, oh, by the way, this syntax error is due to the fact that you have your if statement on line 96 started, but not finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Give that a save to see if it makes your linter happy. Okay. So the thing with curly braces is that it processes it as anything other than a string. And since you just actually want the string hello world, yes, you could put quotes around it, but it actually becomes redundant at this point. JSX, you know, this quasi JavaScript, quasi markup we're using, you can type if it just is supposed to be a string, you can type it raw. So if you get rid of the quotes and you get rid of the curly braces, it'll come out as a string. And then otherwise, it's just yelling at you about one semicolon. And I think that's it.
Wow.
Well, two, yeah. One, yeah. Cool. So what I would do is not put this in the main render function, nor in the main render form function, but we have our render signup form function that I think we should throw it in there somewhere, like perhaps.
Oh yeah, where did I put it?
It's right above your render errors function.
Okay.
So I would put it right below the button, or perhaps right above the button on line 89.
So we want to put render errors in here.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think that's good enough to test our work in the browser. So if we do something to trigger errors, hopefully it will set the error state, meaning that it will re-render with this hello world right below the button. If you want to give that a try.
It did not.
Did you refresh the page?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's not done. Oh, there we go.
Might have a debugger still, I'm not sure. So it looks like it hasn't fallen into either block.
Oh, look at it. It's loading pictures.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there it is. Beautiful.
Nice. Okay. So we did that data transfer correctly. We got the data back from the server, and we conditionally responded to it. So that's pretty nice. All right. So I think now what we should do is, I guess, make a bunch of p tags or something with these key value pairs. I'm not 100% sure, or maybe like ul li, you know, list items.
Maybe bullet points, I guess.
Yeah. How about you make the outer div, instead of being an outer div, make that be a ul.
Okay.
And then, so inside here, I think we need to look up, okay, you know what? Hit undo and get us back to the hello world. And put a debugger right inside the conditional and catch that debugger so that we can just practice with the JavaScript at that point to figure out the way. I think it's fairly straightforward to map through
Yeah.
a JavaScript object. But
What is it, baby? Sure. Sure.
So you don't know what the router password is?
The router password?
Yeah, because that's what he tried all the ones he knew.
Or the one that with the dog or something?
No, that's the
Dog.
Wi-Fi.
Dog?
That's Wi-Fi.
No, I didn't change. I never touched the router password.
He said that the DHLC or something isn't working.
Well, it's whatever it is whatever he set it up to be.
Okay.
you know, sometimes it's printed on the underside of the device.
Sometimes it's printed on the other underside of the device. Where is he?
He wants it on the other side of the device.
Yeah, of the router itself.
That's the router, right?
That's the Wi-Fi router. Yeah, no, that is the router. Yeah.
Okay. And it's just like username and password.
It has it? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know.
All right. So at this point, I would, yeah, refresh the page. And since your console is open, that'll catch the debugger. Well, I mean, refresh the page and then resubmit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So type this.state.errors. All right. I think we need to wrap that with json.parse in the code, but before we do that in the code, just do that here and assign it to the variable x. And just like in Ruby, it's the same. json.parse. Cool. All right. So could you type x.errors first of all? Yeah. And then type that again, just with a dot after it, and it will bring up some autocomplete. It is not saying
Keys. Something like keys.
Yeah. So it looks like we don't by default have any good way to enumerate or iterate. Do we have underscore in the project?
Yeah. Oh, I think we do.
Machine real quick.
We have underscore. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, are you able to reference it in your console, out of curiosity?
Is that it? Just do underscore?
Yeah, do like underscore dot map.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice, okay. I guess everything's globally in scope, or at least the way we set it up. So keys could work, but just see what underscore dot map will give us if you pass it x dot errors, and then we're going to use ES5 here, so no like fat arrows or anything, but just do comma function and give it a letter, whatever letter you want, inside the parentheses of that function. Yep. Some curly brace, a return. We got to be explicit about the return here. And then, you know what? Actually, go back into your arguments and give yourself like 2 letters inside there, because we might be getting a key value. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Give yourself like a KV. And then, just to keep this simple, return an array with K comma V. Curious what it gives us there. All right, and pop that open. Yeah, okay, so that does work. Weird though, it looks like it gives us value comma key, not key comma value, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can work with that.
Put the first one.
And then the first one is an array. Yeah.
What if we return 2 things and have them not be an array?
I think that the first argument is coming out as an array.
Yeah.
Can you have like a few lines back there what x.errors is. Can you click on the arrow for object email array 1? Just pop that thing open. Yeah. You'll see that the reason is that actually it's not due to underscores. It's that the data structure is like that. So because email can have multiple errors, even though it's just one error, it gives us a singleton list. So we'll sort of have to do like a doubly nested map.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, what we could do. Yeah, that's fine. Either way, we discovered that the first element is the values. Okay. All right, that'll be fine. Yeah, let's hop back into the code. So let's, we'll have to change those outer divs to ULs, but before we do that, let's just write some code inside here. Give yourself a curly brace and do underscore dot map. And the second argument, let's use ES6 in here. So just parentheses and 2 arguments. And the first one should be value.
Yeah, that's true.
Or values, plural, maybe, in our case. And then key, yeah. Then fat arrow. And you don't necessarily need to jump into a curly brace here unless we need to do a multi-line thing. We might be able to squeeze it all into one line.
Okay.
So do underscore dot, we're going to basically, have to doubly nest these maps. So underscore dot map values. So now we're mapping through an array. Yep. The second argument, again, will have to be a function. Make sure you do the second argument within the original parentheses of map.
First map, right?
No, I mean like the second map, you close that parenthesis too early. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you need to put a comma after it and then give yourself some parentheses for the new function we're inside here. Like before the fat arrow, we need to put down some parentheses and put in a variable for what is the v or something. That is the, yeah. But then you got to close that parenthesis. And then the fat arrow, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and so, okay, at this point, let's just do li, because we're just gonna write markup right here. And give yourself some curly brace, because we're going to interpolate the key in first. So what I'm imagining is key colon value. So yeah, don't put the colon here though, because that's just text, and key is sort of like, string interpolation. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so
and then close your li and close up your parentheses, and I would put a space after the colon. And then I think one closing curly brace. And then, yep. Switch that div though. Okay, ignore these console errors, or not console errors, but linter errors. I think we have to do something to let the linter know that underscore is a global variable. But for now, it's fine.
Import it or something?
Well, I mean, what we do at work is we use a module system. We don't use the Rails asset pipeline. Here, we can take a look at where it is. It looks like it's in one of our top level require statements.
Okay.
Like app assets JavaScript application.js has require underscore. And so I think at that point, it's just global. In fact, I'm not even sure how it gets mapped to the underscore character. I think that's just a little bit of magic because we're using a gem. So we'll just have to put something down in your ESLint.rc that says that underscore is a global variable.
Okay.
We'll circle back to that. Yeah, take out the debugger and save and kick it off.
Ooh. All right. All right. That's nice.
All right, I think I know what's happening. Response.response text already has an outer object that has errors as a key. And so we've got like too many, we've got one level too deep of nesting. If you go back up to the fail path, and instead of assigning errors to response.response text, assign errors to response.response text.errors. So we'll basically unwrap it one level further. Oh, and also JSON.parse that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna be back in a second.
Sure.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Got a syntax error.
All right. Put a debugger up on the fail path. Yeah, before the set state, and catch it there so we can just, attempt what line 50 is doing. Figure out what's up. And if your page reloads are really slow, we could consider deleting all the records out of the database. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
actually a bottleneck.
I think it is, but it's all right. It's not that slow. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what is response.response text? Oh, you know what? Put the errors on the outside of that JSON.parse. All right, that's what we want. Okay. I think that's our MVP.
Mm-hmm.
We might need some design input
Mm-hmm.
from Alex if he wants this somehow displayed in line, how to make that look. Or we could just sort of borrow ideas from work, because I'm pretty sure if I check base CSS now, there's at least a class that we could put on the inputs to like sort of highlight them in orange. And you know what? Yeah, let's just start going for that.
Yeah, let's do it because you know, otherwise we might be stuck with something horrible.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like yeah. People will say, "Oh, it's great. Don't change it." We'll be like, "No." Okay. You might want to commit as well. Just take out the debugger and commit. And I'll also be looking at that base CSS page.
What is this? Features REQ cache?
I don't know what that is. I fear that it's got something to do with the way that we're stubbing the web right now.
Hi, dog. Oh, you're still alive? Ooh. That big thump was this poor dog trying to lay down. It's like, let's go. Let's see, what did we do?
All right, I'm sending you a link in Slack that I think is I guess I'll paste in the local support room. Where's class? So I find their docs to be really good. They have a lot of like stuff that you can copy paste to get going without having deep knowledge of their everything. So it looks like we just need to add a class called isError to any field that comes back in error. I think we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
we'll do that before moving the message in line. But have you made your commit yet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Flipping back to your teammate. Oh, let's take care of this annoying. All right. Let me look up the ESLint way of declaring global variables. Do you have an ESLint RC in your project root, like a .ESLint RC? Could you check with them?
That's not.
Is it in tilde/.ESLint RC? I have a linter somewhere. The question is where. Oh, you typed that wrong. Hold on. ESLint RC. Yeah, we have it here.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm just gonna on line 19 add _ false.
Okay.
So the false part means you're not allowed to overwrite it. If it was true, it would still be counted as a global variable, meaning that it won't yell at you.
Okay.
Oh, I always do this on yours. Let's see if that worked. I'm gonna open a new line, save the file. Yeah, cool. All right, so
Checks it every time. Explains why it's so freaking slow.
yep. But honestly, it saved me a lot of time because I can easily make errors that would waste a ton of my time.
It is nice to have.
Right. Now I'm trying to remember. Could you? Okay, so line 61 is important, or where your cursor 67. That's fine. Could you do to give yourself a mark here, but then also flip up about 30 lines so I can look at the Ajax. This .refs.sign up email. Okay, so we have it tagged with refs. Could you put your cursor on line 37, sign up email, and then put it literally on the S in sign up email, then hit asterisk so you can start looking, or yeah.
What does that do?
Yes, it's a very important feature of him. So, I'm trying to recall the best way to do this, but we basically need to start interacting more programmatically with these inputs here so that when they come back with an error, we add a class to the thing here. So the first thing I would try is to...
Oh.
You hear that?
Yeah.
I think we could make 3 arrays up right below line 79 that are called like email classes, password classes, password confirmation classes. And so the goal here is to, instead of having a string of class names, we have an array of strings of class names, and we join them all together inside the render, inside the like line, inside the input. And then, so we basically have a conditional check for errors, and if we have any errors for each of those elements, we push in to the array an extra class.
Could we put backticks around this and have a ternary in there?
Yeah, we could.
You think that would be maybe better?
I think it's going to get really verbose, but we can try it and see how much space it takes up.
What the hell is going on here?
You just jump to a mark, I think.
Hmm.
Hit Control-O to jump back. Yeah, and then do R backtick.
I just wanna-
So you're going to need to put curly braces around what you're about to do, by the way. Around these backticks. Because they won't accept anything but straight strings. And then to interpolate, you'll need a $sign curly brace.
Okay, and we want this.
Before you type something in here, it's just that here, I'm gonna just move the cursor up a few lines and just type some nonsense real quick. Like because of null references, this.state.errors. You can't just call that directly because sometimes this.state.errors doesn't exist. So what you really have to do is this.state.errors and end this.state.errors.email, which is super verbose, right? So, I mean, we could sort of take care of that though up here, right? We could do like let equal.
Yeah.
And this would have to be plural because it's going to give us an array.
Well, no, we actually just want a Boolean.
True, you're right. So it's like
has email error or
yeah. I'm trying to think of a variable name because it is going to give verbose, but let's not, I guess, go too far. Has email error. Yeah, that makes sense. Semicolon. Oops. Yeah, maybe that could work. I guess we can build a turn array off of that now.
well,
What?
like it should be errors again.
Okay.
Whatever. As email error question mark.
Yep. So looking at the docs, it looks like the name of the class, where do the docs go? Is dash error. Now this you're gonna have to put string quotes around because we're in JavaScript at this point, yeah. And then the alternative, I think you're safe to just say null.
Like that?
Yeah. And then yeah, let's just run that in the browser and see what happens. Okay, scroll up a little bit, but it looks like it worked.
Oh, it did work.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So, I mean, my instinct is to just put a p tag underneath the input, right?
Yeah.
But also my instinct now is since we're going to have to refer. Okay, so I'll just write a little bit more. I think we want to alias let errors because we're going to need to refer to that a bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kill that. And so
now errors.email is actually a little bit shorter than has email error. So maybe we don't even need that.
true, but what we need in the ternary is
That's
that.
Yeah, that's true.
And email errors plural. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? It might just be once we do this, it's I don't want to sort of like abstract too soon and introduce some like little component for handling errors, like what we do at work.
Yeah.
This is good enough, I think, for now.
Okay.
So as long as we have that, I think that's good enough. And then I think this is actually. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. No, I thought you were going to change that.
I think this is a good time to do the multi-line ternary that Nick was using at work. So it's like something, and then it's going to be split across multiple lines, null, and then inside here, right? So this will be
This dot, we will have, can we just do this dot render errors? Could render errors just take an argument?
oh, interesting. That does make sense to me, right? It could take
Email.
yeah, or it could even take this. Yeah, yeah, emails would make sense. So we could actually have two functions, right? We could have like a render errors, render errors. I don't know, maybe that's too far because it's only ever going to return what's inside that ternary on line 85, but
Wait, what another?
I'm just premature optimizing things. Like we could do error this, yank inside here, paste, because we're going to have to repeat this for email, password, and password confirmation. So
Oh, wait a second. What is that going to give us back? Error class?
if I put this here, right?
You know what? You keep dropping out.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just being quiet.
Oh, okay. But I think it's that we have that problem with the typing again.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm done typing. So what I was thinking is we're just going to have to repeat the ternary for this isError class for both the password confirmation and the email. So anyway, I was thinking let's pop that out into a local variable. And yeah, let's do the.
Wait, I don't understand what error class is going to give back.
So error class is going to do exactly what we just had in line there on line 85. So error class is going to be assigned to either isError, the string, or null. And then we string interpolate that on line 85.
Okay. Then why are we calling it? Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And so what you were saying here, I liked a lot. Change inside here. You were saying render error
Email.
errors dot, right? Or no, I understand what you're saying. We could also just do email.
Yeah.
And it knows how to query. Okay, I like that.
Do we need to? Yeah, no, we should do that.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
And then in here, the state.error. So we don't need all this then. But how do we, so our key is email.
Right. Yeah. So give yourself a variable inside your arguments up on line 98. I guess it would make sense to call it key. And
So we don't want this list thing. Well, we can leave it for now.
yeah, I think what we're ultimately going to do at this point is return a div of spans instead of a UL of LIs. Like, I don't ever actually expect to get back. Well, I think actually everything you have there is good. I think you might want to undo that. Because the way that you step into the data is going to be the same. Oh, you know what? I see why you did that. Okay. I'm on the same page. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. So to drill down to what we want here, I think it's going to be, you know, we might want to do the same thing we did on line 80, where we just set up a local variable called errors, just for the sake of convenience. But anyway, if we didn't do that, it would be this.state.errors dot, or then we would switch to the square bracket notation. Ooh, good point, yeah.
Okay, so we don't want, so what are we going to do, a span?
I think this is going to be a div. And then the LIs are going to turn into spans.
All right, so we want to map values.
So could you do, on line 98, could you do let errors equals this.state.errors double ampersand this.state.errors key, and then you can just do if errors, and we can refer to errors also below. Give it a semicolon. We need to update our ESLint to, when you get a minute, I'm going to jump over to the ESLint and make sure it yells about semicolons.
Well, this isn't right, this map thingy.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Because we don't have values.
Right.
I don't remember what was there.
Well, I'm pretty sure what we want is errors. Because these are the individual messages like doesn't match password or something. Yeah. And I would change those LIs to spans. So why does it say render errors is not defined? Looks defined to me. Put your cursor on the beginning of the render errors word and then hit star, just so we can have a little sanity checking that it jumps to the other one. Yeah, it's definitely defined. All right, well, let's just boot up a page and see if the JavaScript there also thinks it's not defined. Oh, you know what it is? This is why the linter is really nice. This dot render errors. That was my mistake when I wrote it on 86. I just called it render errors.
Okay, and this doesn't belong here.
I think it does. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Not this, this.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it is nice. You know what? I'm thinking we don't need the key at all. And we could also move the text to the top.
To the top.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's not clear. If we were to remove the word email, which I think we should because it's a duplicate label, then it's not clear if it belongs to email or password. But if we put it directly underneath the word email address, I think it would be more clear.
Yep. And it could be a little bit different, smaller, red.
Yeah, that's true. We can, I'll look that up. See what we can do about that. So the color base, color tables. I mean, you know, it might be worth it just to slap the isError class name on the span and see if it colors the text as well. It might only work for inputs, which is where we have it now, but okay, I just found their color page. Yeah, I think actually the class we want is just called red.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Red and small
Okay. So in terms of the size, wonder what we can do.
There's not already something for this?
I mean, there very well might be. I'm flipping through the guides down at the bottom. Hamburgers. Like, there's probably a bunch of classes that we're going to end up putting on there. Something with some padding and margin, or
Type equals text, class, field is. Oh, that's the thing we already have. Is error. What's field?
out of curiosity, what happens if you put onto that span like py2, which basically is padding on the y-axis, and padding pushes in? I doubt that'll actually affect the size of the text, but I'm just curious. It'll probably just like make it really, really like a tiny slice of the text. It should be ridiculous, but I'm curious. CSS.
It did nothing?
What part did nothing?
PY2?
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. You shouldn't really do anything. All right, could you do font size 50%? So you'll have to do this as an inline style. So it would be like style equals curly brace, because the first set of curlies is like, okay, it's not a string, and the second set of curlies is, this is a JavaScript object. And then font size, since it's a dasherized word, I believe cannot be a key literal. It has to be like quotes around it. Might be wrong though.
And we don't need braces around class name. We need it outside of style or inside?
You're doing it right.
And equals?
Colon. And then I think again another string 50%. Then close your curlies. By the way, did the text come out red?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that definitely did get smaller. Maybe too small for the elderly, but could you right-click inspect element on it? Because now I'm tempted to.
Hey, look, unsupported style property font size.
Ooh, font size, camel
Font
case. Yeah, we can do that. I forgot Nick told me that that was something. So you don't even need the. Oh, no. Style is fine, but the inner key value pair, that doesn't need to be a string if you camel case it.
Okay. It's not really camel case, is it?
I would say it is.
No, camel case would be this.
No, that's Pascal case.
You are, no, that's Ruby camel case.
But I thought that was also JavaScript camel case.
I think, well, Pascal case. What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's something that C# people refer to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think?
I think that there's something wrong with the render method of login form.
Why? Oh, you know, it's telling you that we should be using key. That is something we can do. So basically, you'll see this in a lot of React tutorials. Key is some magic React method for knowing when to re-render something, and it's considered important when you're returning an array. And to be honest, I can't remember why it's important. But what we need to do is, I'm going to look at the underscore library. We basically need to map with index, I believe. Underscore.
Instead of val here?
No, not instead of anything. We're going to add something additional. Where's map? Iterate context. Iterate is past 3 arguments. The value, right? The iterate is past 3 arguments. Value and the index. Okay. So it looks like you can just have a second argument inside your lambda. Yeah, exactly. And the second argument you could call I or index. And do, like before even class name, do key equals curly brace I. No spaces, please. Yeah. So I, like I said, I don't fully understand this. I don't understand it mostly when it comes to why we have to use it in an array, which is what we're doing here. But like, for example, the form we're working on at work, I use keys all the time. It's basically cache invalidation, at least in the way I use it. So what happens is if it has a key that changes, React knows it needs to re-render that DOM. And so, like, what the reason we have to use it at work on that form we're working on together, that salary form, is the value of the HTML input that is going to like show the salary number or something is coming out of the state, which isn't there on the initial render. So what happens is the first time it renders with no value, and then a millisecond later, or next tick later, it re-renders with the value that came out of the Ajax, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that cache isn't expired, so the input stays empty until I put the key equal to the thing that is coming out of the Ajax as well. So basically, the first time it renders with a null key, and then the second time it renders with whatever that value is. The key changes, so it says, okay, I have to re-render this DOM. But that's all a little bit tangential here. I'm not exactly sure how that relates to elements in an array, but it's a very common warning message that React throws that says, hey man, you got to give me keys when you're giving me an array of things. I'm not sure if it just is because it believes it's likely to have to re-render those, or yeah, but hopefully that takes care of the error message. Save that and boot it back up.
It did. I did it.
All right, cool. All right. So should we just apply this to the other two input fields?
Yep. Let's see.
I think you want to slip that below the label. line 91.
Oh,
And the comment on 108 tells me that the key is password underscore confirmation.
um,
And this is just me flip-flopping, but on line 80, could you get rid of that local variable, this.state.errors, and instead on 81, just refer to that twice? Because it doesn't feel worth it to make a separate local variable just because we have to repeat it twice. And also remember to take what you have on line 85 with the whole string interpolation to the class name. Yeah, and apply that into the other ones.
these are the same.
Yeah, I think so. So I don't think you need a yank again. If you do your paste with a buffer, the 0 buffer, you should be able to access the original yank. So when you get ready to paste, instead of doing just your regular paste, do quote 0 paste. And by quote, I mean double quote. Oh, and you know what? Yeah. Is that what it's giving you?
Yeah, that was not my 0. Yeah.
Do colon reg. I want to see where it is. It might be in your 1 register. Yeah. No. It is just nowhere. Weird. Okay, whatever. Re-yank. How did you yank it? What was your command to yank it?
Why $?
Yeah, that's weird. Why did it... You might have accidentally yanked label at one point afterward.
I did.
Okay.
But wasn't the point that I didn't have to re-yank it again because I had already done something?
Well, okay, so if you... Yeah, you don't have to re-yank it again just because, you know, often when you do a delete,
Yeah.
you the next paste you do is going to be that delete.
Right.
But in your 0 buffer is the original yank, so that's what I was referring to. But if you go yank something else, that original yank is gone.
Okay, then that is what I did.
Okay.
To test it. Wait a second. This doesn't work anymore.
What doesn't?
Error class.
Why not?
Because it's got email on it.
Oh, right, right. So we need to make a function.
Yep.
That also takes a key.
Yeah.
Called maybe like get error class or something, I don't know.
Okay. I'm just going to call it error class.
Mm-hmm.
Key?
Yeah, that's fine. Now, by the way, make sure after let get error class you have an equal sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now how do we
Same thing as you did on line 99, just a square brace.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice. Oh wait, you gotta pass the key in.
Didn't I?
No.
Oops.
Close your parens.
What the heck?
Okay, it's an underscore in password confirmation. By the way, we can multi-line these JSX tags. Let me type for a moment. I'll show you the way it's normally done. For 2 spaces. Space. This guy, we go back to the original indentation. We might want to just do that with all 3 of the inputs to be consistent.
Yes.
So you could do forward space, F space bar. I mean, at this point, it's going to take you through 5, but I find it convenient when doing this sort of jumping and new line breaking. Try to put your cursor 1 character previous when you're doing this, because, yeah, there you go. And take that close, yeah. Yep, perfect. And then back that up 2 spaces. Yeah, nice. Okay, you've got a trailing white space on line 92. Yeah, I think that's good now.
Oh, it took any 8 characters?
Yeah,
Ah.
but that's good. That just demoed to us that it only throws the errors where it needs them.
Mhm. Pretty good.
I'd say that's a pretty good interactive form right there.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Oh. Exciting.
Yeah. I would commit that, and even maybe record a GIF of it in action for the pull request, which still needs to be moved over to develop, but yeah. I would also commit your ESLint RC. Do you want to do git diff dash dash cache just for one quick read of it?
Ooh.
It's telling me there's a trailing white space on one of the inputs for sign up email. But keep on scrolling.
Oh, we got this dot. Oh no, we took out this dot render errors.
Yeah. I think we should clean up the comment of the original error payload. Keep on scrolling, or is that the end? Oh, that is the end. Okay.
We basically just refactored here, right?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching what you were typing, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess it's more than a refactor because what we did is we moved the errors from below the button to inline. That's the biggest thing, and we added a good bit of styling. Check your spelling of error. Yeah.
Just have to do the other form.
Yeah. And we also need to investigate the hooks.
Today's our last cat day.
This,
the cats is shutting down.
This the one over by the dock or whatever?
No, this is in Hackensack. This lady has it's called Chance for Life Cat Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
She's been we met her at PetSmart when like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she had some kids volunteering, so I asked her about if my daughter could volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been going there every week pretty much since then. It's in
Ran
her
out of.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, but she ran out of money or something.
She ran out of money, yeah, and she had to sell her house, and she's moving to Florida.
Well, there's cats in Florida that need rescuing too. And it's cheaper down there.
You know, it's like really an overwhelming thing.
With the amount of work that she has to do.
Yeah, and I think it's just too much cats. She's like 35, and she's ruined her health, basically.
Wow.
I think it might just be overdose of cats and stress.
Yeah.
And she's got like her own 9 cats. She must have had 100 cats there when we started.
Wow.
And she stopped taking more cats. And then she's gradually been farming them out. Somehow I ended up not getting one.
Must have taken some effort on your part.
Oh, well, there was this really mean cat, Lincoln, that I liked a lot. But my daughter was scared of him because he bites.
Oh, wow.
And she also gave him to someone else and then tried to get me to take a different cat. Like I might have taken Lincoln,
Uh-huh.
but I really don't need another cat. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. That is sad.
All right, so this is so nice.
I think at this point it would be a good idea to switch to develop and just try to catch whatever afterhook we do. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I think I know. I sent you a TMUX or a teammate if you want to look at mine briefly, because I'm just going to poke around a little bit and talk about the code I see.
Okay.
So I'm in the registrations controller, and I haven't pulled in your latest commits, but this is where it all started with your respond to JSON thing. So what we need to do back in your teammate, I think, is make sure that this afterhook still gets called, and maybe does this return statement here, does that actually get sent across the wire to the JavaScript? That's my hope. I'm not sure if that's the case. Yeah, I'm not even sure what it does.
This is Timo, right?
After an active signup path for is Timo in the first branch of this conditional?
No, that second one is Timo. Oh no, right.
Yeah. This is proposed org. Okay, so this is, I wasn't really involved in this, but I guess creating an organization as a non-admin is this.
Yep.
And then the third one is what would normally happen. Send email to superadmin about sign up resource. And then what happens also is this function returns root path. So what I want to know is on the success path, you know, on your code, you might just want to put a debugger in the success branch, you know, and actually do a sign up. We can check the database to make sure the sign up actually happened, but also I'm curious if it sends with a 200, one of these paths here that we see.
Hmm. You want to put the debugger in here?
Going back up the Hangout. No, not in there. I want to see the debugger inside the JavaScript to see if on the success path of the AJAX method, if it's getting back any of those URLs. Okay. Yeah.
What are those annoying notifications?
Looks like Travis CI now emails us. I mean, that's honestly pretty nice. Because if you're working on multiple builds at once and you see one fail in your email, you can jump over there, fix one test, and kick it off again. Okay, so
What do we want? This?
yeah, could you just type response in the console? Okay, expand that. Okay. So
Well,
and if you release the debugger, what does it do? Does it reload the page? Or does it do nothing? It's not reloading the page, right?
I don't think so. I think it did nothing.
Okay. What would happen? I'm just gonna hop on Stack Overflow, but what if you in the after hook, we made it explicitly render JSON of our desire, which to me would be the URL that it should navigate to next. Is hook JSON.
Is this submit? Do we not have the submit button hooked up?
What?
Like it's not doing anything, right?
I think it is. I mean, it's successfully submitting data, and the server's responding with a 200 and giving us the data on the newly created user. Thing is, I want it to do something different on a success path.
Well, what would we expect to happen here?
Well, I would like to use the logic that we have in our after hooks. So in our after hooks, we're basically figuring out a URL to do, right? Like each branch of the after hook returns some URL besides doing some side effects like doing something in the database or sending an email. So that I want all that to happen too, but also like the return value is the next URL to render. And so if we could figure out how to serialize that in the JavaScript, we could do window.location.href equals that URL, which would sort of be the way to integrate with a current behavior, I think. The only problem is that we won't have a flash message, but I'm not sure, at least for those, I didn't see any flash messages.
Okay. But in this particular, like from where we were, we just want to stay on the home page.
Right, but I think it's a re-render. You might want to check out develop and double check.
I guess we can look. Do we have a staging? Do we even know that?
I don't know, but you might still not want to do it on staging because we don't want to fill up staging with fake users. I think if you just check out develop, you'll be able to check it. Okay, I have an idea. Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. I am coming back to your.
Yes, it did re-render.
Did re-render?
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So I would say check back out our branch, and I have a suggestion. I'm not sure if it's going to work. It's worth a try.
Okay.
Could. I'm getting a phone call. It's garbage. All right, so I'm gonna do Control A C. Nope, I'm gonna do Control B C. I'm gonna do bundle open for. How do I do this? Editor equals 5, right?
Yeah.
Then I can bundle open device. Okay, let's do this in my teammate. I'm flipping over to my teammate. Bundle open device. So I want to look at app controllers. Are you able to see my screen
Mm-hmm.
or my code? Okay. So in the registrations controller, okay, I'm flipping over to our code. It's, we're calling super. So I'm going to see what super is. It eventually calls respond with. Might need to get rid of the super call.
What is it supering to?
It's supering to the gems implementation of create, right? And the thing is, so it only gave you the payload. It didn't give you the path. We're certain of this, right?
I do not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. Just checking a couple more things in Stack Overflow.
Right. I did not.
Okay.
Email.